Hello and welcome again. Who's the Bhatakti Atma of Maharashtra? Who's Asli, who's Nakli? The Maharashtra Assembly elections are going to settle those questions and more in just a few weeks from now. One of the big fundamental questions of Maharashtra politics is whether our next guest at the India Today Conclave has what it takes to run the NCP in the future. Can I request you to join me in raising a warm round of applause as we welcome the working president of the Nationalist Congress Party, Sharad Pawar, Supriya Sule. She's driven all the way from Pune in this rain to join us here, so we're very thankful to have you. Supriya ji, I want to start by asking you about whether you accept that this is the election that will determine who's Asli, who's Nakli, and who's the Bhatakti Atma.
I don't think I even have to think or wait for this moment. Of course, it's not about me. I think all of India knows who's Asli. Nakli mein time kisko hai. So there's no question or a debate ever won. And Bhatakti Atma, I look at it as a compliment. So I don't find such comments objectionable.
I mentioned in my introduction, one of the big questions is whether Supriya Sule has what it takes to run a grassroots party in rural Maharashtra, which is what the NCP's forte has been. And with no disrespect to you, a lot of people think of you as a politician suited for national politics at the capital, not this gaon-wali politics of Maharashtra, which they would say Ajit Da is better suited for. How do you address this fundamental question? And what is it that you wish to say to all your critics who say that you are better suited for Delhi ki politics, not the gaon ki politics?
Well, only time is going to tell that. And I think we all are put in situations which we never anticipate. And that's the journey of life for anybody. So I think responsibilities come to all of us. And you have to try your best and deliver superior results.
I want to show you, and I'm sure you already know, so basically recap for everyone sitting here what happened in the Lok Sabha elections of 2024 and ask you then whether you think the same trend is continuing, because we heard Eknath Shinde, the Chief Minister, we heard Ajit Pawar. They think that they've recovered lost ground from the Lok Sabha elections, that even though you won 30 seats in the Lok Sabha elections, 31. Now the situation is very different, and that in the assembly, and the margins are very narrow. If you look at the vote share, so here it is on your screen now. Now the argument that is made is, while you picked up 8 out of 10 seats in the Lok Sabha elections and had the best strike rate of all parties, that this is not the trend that will continue in the assembly, because the issue of reservation is no longer there. The issue of Dalit reservation, the issue of the constitution, those were one-off issues for the Lok Sabha election. They're not localized issues, those are national issues. How do you respond to this, Supriya ji?
Well, the reservation issue is still it's burning.
I'm not talking about Maratha reservation, I'm talking about Dalit reservation being taken back, which is one of the big issues in the Lok Sabha election.
Yeah, but in Rajya Sabha, it's in the state election, in Vidhan Sabha, Maratha, Dhangar, Lingayat, Muslim and Bhatka Vimukta Samaj. All these fives are right now on the streets. As I'm talking to here, there are people on the streets of Maharashtra where there are blockages going on as we talk because of Dhangar Samaj wanting reservation. So none of that. I mean, the goalposts may have changed, unfortunately, from the constitution. It's not that reservation. It's more about changing the constitution vis-a-vis this reservation, which is about a caste politics, point number one. And nothing else has changed. There is still price rise. There is still obscene amount of corruption. And clearly, the unemployment is over the roof in Maharashtra.
The big hope that the NDA has is that the money that they are transferring into the bank accounts of women, like was the case with the Ladli Behan scheme in Madhya Pradesh and in several other states as well, Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, will help the NDA ensure that they get the women voter in the assembly elections. That's what Eknath Shinde is hoping for, that's what the BJP is hoping for, that's what Ajit Pawar is hoping for as well.
See, life is about hope. Usi pe duniya kayam hai. So there's nothing wrong in hoping for something. But one thing I'll tell you clearly, if only money mattered, I would have never won my election. The fact that people like me and Amol Kole won, obviously money did not matter.
मैम, पैसा तो आपके पास भी बहुत है.
उनके जितना नहीं है जितना हमारे खिलाफ उन्होंने लगाया है.
Really?
Of course.
Because the buzz is that पैसा तो आप लोगों के पास ही है. वैसे पैसे की कमी
See, I never claim to be poor. And whatever I am is on my affidavit. That's why I sleep very peacefully because I have no reason to worry about ICE. ICE means income tax, CBI and ED. It's not the ice you're putting in your cold water.
You know, I read a comment of yours where you say that each time you speak in parliament, your husband gets an IT notice. Is that actually something or you're just making a political point?
Why would I make? That's one thing I do. I don't fib from what I say and I don't ever, I only speak the truth. And I don't even go on and on saying that I speak the truth. That's a basic value of life. You have to speak only the truth. So
how often has this happened कि आपने speech दी parliament में और यहाँ आया IT
many times, many times. But we've become, it's a part of our life now, so it doesn't really faze us.
But the counter to this that the BJP makes is that look at the cases. You know, they cite what happened in Jharkhand with all the cash being recovered from a member of the India Alliance and so many other cases to say, boss, case का जवाब दो ना. ये क्या आप political witch hunt का allegation लगाते हो? Look at the case, look at the charges, and let's discuss basis the material facts of the case.
I totally agree with you. Look at Maharashtra. Dirty Dozen. On your channel, you carried a story that Maharashtra has Dirty Dozen, which the BJP brought out, and the entire Dirty Dozen, who they call the Dirty Dozen, are today a part of the BJP's government. So rather than asking me these questions, you must ask the Bharatiya Janata Party these questions and their allies. That if they were the Dirty Dozen, through the washing machine they've cleaned up and come on. So I mean, today if you notice in the entire campaign, even the sea of corruption is not mentioned by the BJP. Because they are in no position today to talk about it.
Ma'am, you said in the past that you had an opportunity to join the Modi cabinet along with Ajit Pawar. Can you tell us a little bit about this and why did you say no?
See, the point is that I think, first of all, I live the moment. There's only that much limited point. I'm not a prisoner of the past or the history. I live the moment. Whatever has happened. We've all moved on. They've moved on. We've moved on. And we'll see what life has in store for us.
How is your politics different from that of your father or from that of Ajit Pawar? How do you, because I saw some of the issues you've raised in the past. You know, you've done big campaigns for female feticide, malnutrition. Now, these are very commendable, but this is slightly different from the regular Maharashtra politician who may be wanting to take up, say, issues of reservation or sugarcane pricing, etc. How do you explain your politics and your vision for your party to everyone listening to you?
Just the maximum time in parliament, if somebody has spoken about reservation and about farmers' issues, is me. And data speaks. I'm very data driven. So please get data from your office. The first person to raise the onion farmers issue was me. And for 1 year I had issues with policy with Shri Piyush Goyal. And I was actually almost begging Piyush Goyal ji that please get this entire tax thing out because of the exports. Our onion growing farmers were getting some money. Please don't do this to me because the Pakistan farmers were benefiting but Indian farmers were suffering, which I don't know what this logic was all about. It means globally it was flooded with Pakistani onions, but Indian onions were rotting in India but were not allowed to export. We had surplus that time. These are all issues I have all raised endless amount of times. And the whole point is, when the whole party was together, there was a clear divide of work. I was to work in Delhi and the rest of the team was to work in Maharashtra. Well, things have changed now, so responsibilities also change and you have to change with your responsibilities.
किसमें मजा आता है, दिल्ली में कि महाराष्ट्र के गांव में?
दोनों अच्छे लगते हैं. महाराष्ट्र है तो ही दिल्ली है. It's not the other way around.
Do you think that there is a possibility still of Ajit Pawar coming back to the NCP? Can the family be united again?
Well, the family has nothing to do with our politics. And I think he has answered this earlier, so I see no reason for me to repeat what he has said. But I'm very clear in my mind that, 98% of the family stood by me very openly in this election. So 98% people were with me from my family, and I have absolute gratitude about it because I knew I was doing the right thing. So I see no reason.
How tough was that election? You won by a margin of 1.5 lakh votes. How tough was the Pawar versus Pawar fight from your
Well, it was very emotionally painful for me because मेरे लिए रिश्ते मायने रखते हैं. For me, it's very important, and not just about my own family. See, relationships are beyond blood. So I value relationships, period, in my life. Because power, money can come and go. Only relationships last forever in your life, both ways. So for me, it really mattered. It was, of course, a very painful experience to go through. I won't wish it on anybody else. But well, it happened and I had to go through it because I wanted to be, from my side, I wanted to do the right thing. I wanted to stand by a 83-year-old man who believed in something, and I was not going to cow down to a bully. I was not going to get bullied by somebody. Win or lose, the outcome was not important for me. The journey was important for me. If just somebody wants to come and scare me, I'm not going to get scared. And if I can do it, I think every woman in this country can do it, because I never thought I could do it. If I can do it, trust me, every woman can go through anything, however tough it is, and she will come out shining. And it's not about success, it's about going through the process.
How confident are you that in a post Sharad Pawar ji, and I hope it's very far in the distant future, but how confident are you that you can hold this party and run it? Do you have the ambition, the hunger, the kind of ground effort that your father made? Can you replicate that? Do you have the hunger to run the party by yourself?
See, I'm not going to run the party by myself. First of all, our party has a lot of talent, and I don't believe, of course I'm a Parivarvad and I'm very proud to be a Parivarvad. So I don't run away from the fact that I'm a Parivarvad, but at the same time it does not mean that my father's entire legacy has to come to me. My father's legacy can go to anybody who is deserving to carry that legacy, which is a huge legacy, on very strong shoulders, because it's the people of India and Maharashtra will decide who will take his legacy forward, not me. I'm not in that position to do that, because Mr. Pawar takes legacy. Who is the prodigal son of who? Of course, the Congress is entire love for the Congress, and YB Chavan. YB Chavan and Sharad Pawar are not related by blood or anything. But even today, when YB Chavan is mentioned, it's his son, Sharad Pawar. So why should Sharad Pawar be trapped that only his daughter can take his legacy?
But that's the charge against Pawar Sahib, that his love for his daughter was so much that he put the interests of his daughter over the immediate interests.
But who's making that allegation?
Those around Ajit Pawar Dada make that.
I challenge them to have a discussion. I'm happy to have a presidential debate one-on-one with any of them.
With Ajit Pawar.
I'm happy to. You can call Ajit
What
Pawar.
will you say in your defense?
I don't have to defend myself because it's not factual. I'll go by data.
How do
what
you...
have I asked that Ajit Pawar wanted that I asked for? There was nothing. I'm happy to have a debate even with him or anybody on his side. Very happily.
Pawar
you can be the moderator.
You to be his political inheritor, whereas Ajit Pawar felt he was the natural inheritor, given that he'd worked so much on the ground and that you were away in Delhi.
Nobody said no. I was happy to give the mantle to Ajit Pawar, more than happy to. I never asked for it. He was going to get it. अरे मांग लेता ना सब दे देती. पार्टी लेने की जरूरत नहीं थी, मांगता तो दे भी देती. What's the big deal, यार?
तो दी क्यों नहीं फिर?
What? Because he did it the wrong way. He chose to disrupt all our lives and go away. He had the option. It was all for him to keep. I never even talked about it. See the contradiction in your interview. You said I was looked at Delhi because nobody ever interfered in him here ever. It was all for him to keep and to lead. It was his choice to disrupt it and go the way it is. It's not my choice at all.
If he had any indication that this was his party to run, he would not have had to do this. He obviously didn't feel that the succession was planned for him. He thought
this
it was
is not about
prepared.
succession. This is about an alliance. This is not about a succession plan at all. It was not about the party succession. This was a complete shift over of an alliance. So don't get it wrong.
I want to show you what happened in Baramati for everyone sitting here. And my point about Baramati is this. I've been to Baramati a couple of times. I'm sure a lot of people have. There's a lot of development. But The charge is it also captures what is wrong with Pawar Sahib's model of development, that it is so skewed towards public infrastructure, institutions coming up in your pocket borough of Baramati, that Baramati is like an oasis. That's not how rural Maharashtra is. Baramati is like an oasis. You've built it so that you can show what you've done to the voters, but the rest of Maharashtra is not like that.
That's not true. There are a lot of places in Maharashtra who have done extraordinary work like this. Go to Aurangabad. The Vadu's MIDC was Mr. Pawar's baby. Nasik MIDC was Mr. Pawar's baby. So Baramati is only one, but there are many such places in Maharashtra which has done extraordinarily well. Look at all our tier 2 and tier 3 cities.
Aisa hai nahi. You also know Baramati is special. You come to Baramati, anybody is wowed by what they see. They're like, oh my God, where have I come? So how do you respond to the charge? Like it's the same with the Huda family in Rohtak, right? Bade Huda, Chote Huda, the charge is so much focuses on Rohtak and Jhajjar that the rest of the state doesn't look like Rohtak and Jhajjar.
That's not true. You go to a lot of constituencies in Nasik, in Jalgaon, in Pune district, all over outside of Baramati as well. You go to Satara, you go to Kolhapur, lot of very, very good development. And the MIDCs are flooded. And see, the MIDCs were started by YB Chavan. Then they were led by all it and expanded much more after Mr. Pawar became the chief minister in 79, and then there was no turning back. All the subsequent chief ministers have done extraordinarily well.
There's a lot of talk, Supriya ji, that at some point in time in the near, medium or long-term future, that the NCP Sharad Pawar faction may merge with the original Congress. How do you see this?
Well, I can't speculate what will happen, but we are very, very clear that our ideology is Congress. We feel closer to the Congress. So there's nothing wrong, and only time will tell. I can't predict whether tomorrow there are going to be floods or is it going to be a clear day tomorrow. So let time decide that.
So you're open hypothetically to assessing the prospect of a merger with the Congress at some point in time in the future. It's not an idea that's closed in your mind.
I am not close to anything in this world. You see, I represent people. So I have to always hear what people are saying. And I don't reply to hypothetical situations because I'm in no position to do that either. Because I am an elected representative of so many people. I have no right anymore to be hypothetical. I don't have that luxury of staying in a dreamy world. I can't do that.
Allow me to press you further. From what I understand of what you say, when you say you are not closed, which suggests that you're open to analyzing the possibility of a merger with the Congress at some point in time in the future, if that's required.
Well, I haven't thought about it. It's a thought you have proposed to me.
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. आपने नहीं सोचा कैसे हो सके? तो सब जगह महाराष्ट्र में चर्चा होती है इस पे.
I can't control what people talk about me. Now you are saying that the entire problem in the NCP was because of some legacy issues which never existed. So, you know, there is a very good, since you're from Delhi, Rahul, I'll tell you there's a word called Chandu Khana. So Chandu Khana in Delhi keeps talking things. Everything is not, some of it is manufactured and it's okay to be manufactured. How else does it keep you interested? Yeah, आपका channel भी कैसे चलेगा? तो थोड़ा वो भी चलना चले, थोड़ा सा खट्टा, थोड़ा सा मीठा, it's okay, yeah. As long as you matter and people talk about you, it doesn't matter good or bad, चलता है.
अब देखो इन्होंने शब्दावली भी दी तो दिल्ली वाली शब्दावली दी. मुझे लगा आप कुछ महाराष्ट्र की लोकल लैंग्वेज.
आप दिल्ली वाले हैं इसलिए आपको दिल्ली वाले.
Okay, fine.
If it was Rajdeep, I would have given a Maharashtra example.
Okay, fine. Good count. I want to show you a strength scanner of Maharashtra. We've collated this from the Lok Sabha data. It shows how many seats different parties are strong on and how many they are weak on. When you look at this data, you tell me whether if I just convert the Lok Sabha seats into assembly trends, the NCP Sharad Pawar faction was strong on 33 assembly segments. The Uddhav Sena faction was strong on 57. And this is what the original looked like. So you are strong where you won every election in the last 3 elections. You are weak where you've lost every election in the last 3 elections. When you look at this as being the reality of the Lok Sabha elections, do you at some point in time, Supriya ji, aspire to be Chief Minister of Maharashtra?
You know, aspirations in political lives, I don't even think that way, to be honest. First of all, my civics is very strong. So, civics, I know I am an elected member of the Lok Sabha. And I don't get trapped, like most people, in genders. That's the first question everybody says as a woman. I don't get trapped in genders ever because I don't think that I'm a woman, so it's this, and I'm a man, so I think that way. So I have complete clarity that I'm in politics to serve. Power is only a tool to improve your people's lives or your stakeholders' lives. That's my...
आपने ऐसा जेनेरिक्स जवाब दिया. मेरा स्पेसिफिक सवाल है, आपको किसी दिन महाराष्ट्र का मुख्यमंत्री बनने का एम्बिशन है कि नहीं?
I have already replied to you earlier that I don't have the luxury of replying to hypothetical questions.
But can I counter that by saying
Of course, please do.
that your critics who are listening to you will say you don't have the ambition, the hunger and the desire to be chief minister? That
Well,
if
my
you,
opponents-
जैसे I'll tell you, थोड़ी देर पहले अजीत दादा पवार बैठे थे, सेम क्वेश्चन उनसे पूछा, उन्होंने बोला बनने का है, मतलब कम से कम एक he's come close 5 times, didn't become is a different matter, but he very openly expressed the desire कि अपने को बनना है chief minister महाराष्ट्र.
So good for him.
तो आपको क्यों नहीं बनना?
Well, it's my choice. I believe in what public sentiment believes in. You can't say, and this is public life. This public life is not about a post. It's about the journey and the service. People have misunderstood what politics is now. They only think that politics is only about conniving, breaking parties, robbing symbols, making sure this Adrushya Shakti feels that they can run the country the way they want. देश ऐसा नहीं चलता, देश संविधान से चलता है. So the country should work only in the way people of India want it to work. And that's the result of Maharashtra is a classic example of that. We are very proud people. Every state has some pride. We are proud Indians, but we are even proud Maharashtrians. And every person who lives in Maharashtra is a Maharashtrian. So we have a lot of pride about that. So if somebody is just going to bully us because they have power and that power is a tool to improve people's lives, not to bully people, that's the difference in what I think.
What's Pawar Sahib telling you right now? As he keeps grooming you, counseling you, suggesting, mentoring you for this assembly election, what's the guru advice that you...
No, first of all, let me tell you, most of you know Mr. Pawar as well as I do. He is a man of very, very few words. And he is not generously giving advice ever to anybody, not even to me. I mean, I have to almost pick his brain on a policy. After a long time, I get a reply. That man has used silence as his biggest power. So I think it's time I also start learning that.
Supriya ji, we are out of time, but this was a delightful conversation. I think you gave people a sense. Okay, Sahil has a question, right? So can I have
Sahil has a question?
Sahil has a question. Can we have a mic sent across
You
to
can ask
Sahil?
any amount of questions. I'm happy to answer.
She's happy to answer questions.
I
Okay,
love
Sahil,
to be accountable.
Well, one thing I wanted to ask about is the Supreme Court cases which your party's, fighting against the Ajit Pawar faction in. Two cases. One is with respect to the disqualification of the MLAs and your party name and symbol, which you have challenged in the Supreme Court. What we are seeing is that there is date after the date, but there is no hearing which is happening. And few days back, when Prime Minister Modi visited Chief Justice Chandrachud's house for Ganesh Aarti, there was a lot of talk about whether it is appropriate, not appropriate. The Shiv Sena gave a reaction about that. How do you look at the Supreme Court cases? Do you think that now that time has come to just give it up, you have no hope again from the Supreme Court to retain your symbol and name again?
See, first of all, I am an eternal optimist. So I'm always optimist one. And I don't give up a fight halfway ever. I will take this fight to its logical end, not because I want anything. What injustice has been done to Mr. Pawar and Mr. Uddhav Thackerayji, that nobody else should go through what we went. Because what happened to us as a party, as an organization was completely unconstitutional. Because if you go by the constitution of both the parties should have remained the NCP with Sharad Pawar and Shiv Sena with Uddhav Thackeray. If you follow the constitution, it's very unfortunate that we didn't go through the whole way that it should have, the whole story should have gone. So it's unfortunate, but now that we are in battle, we will wait. Whether we win or lose is not the question. To take it to its logical end, because I don't want anybody else to go through what I went through.
At a time when so much of Indian politics, and in particular Maharashtra politics, is so cutthroat, it's very refreshing to see a politician who wants to do things the old school way and is more accommodative and not wearing her ambition as much on us. There's a certain quiet and steely determination that you've laid out. We wish you all the best for the assembly elections,
very
for
much,
joining
sir.
us here at the India Today Conclave. Supriya ji, thank you so much.
Thank you for your
Absolute pleasure
kind
having you.
words.
Thank
Thank
you.